There is a battle raging in the SEO world right now, and it's all about snippets. These are where Google is showing a little piece of the answer right in the search result. Now, we've been on the side of the debate, the very, very, very minority side of the debate, since this began, that you want to fight tooth and nail to win the snippet. But there has been some compelling data that really calls what we've been teaching into question. And so today we really want to go through that data so you can make your own decision if you want to win the snippet or if you just want to stop snippets at all from appearing from your website and just go for the organic results.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, a featured snippet is when Google takes a piece of information from the organic search, from the articles that would rank in that organic search, and puts it right at the top and answers the question right on the search result page. Now, the argument there is that people don't want to click on the article that won the snippet because they already got a flavor for that article. They already know what it has to offer, so they're going to keep scrolling and click on other articles. There is some compelling evidence that would suggest that that might be the case. So now let's dive into what that evidence is. A couple years ago, Ahrefs did this big study. And I mean, it's a lot of data.
Yeah, they do some
valuable studies, really, really cool stuff. And in this study, here's what they found. When there is no featured snippet, it's just organic search results, the first article gets 26% of the clicks. Now you might say that's pretty low, but that includes people who click on that and then go click on other things. So most people were clicking on that one and they were getting 26% of all the clicks in the search results. When there was a featured snippet though, the number one natural search article, so the number one ranking article that didn't win the snippet, was only getting 19.6%. And the featured snippet was only getting 8.6%. 8.6 versus 19.6, and definitely 8.6 versus 26, you're like, why would you want the snippet, right?
So when we recently did a video on snippet optimization, several people cited this and said you guys are idiots for trying to win the snippet. Yeah, you're at the top, but you're only getting 8.6% of the clicks, and 19.6% of the clicks are going down to the next one. Now, how exactly do you do this? So we know how to write in a way that the text gets grabbed to win the snippet. If you have not watched our snippet optimization video, it's literally the most important video on our channel, and it didn't get nearly the views that it should have. It is what is hot in SEO right now. It is how we are winning, right? So people see that and they're saying, this is stupid because
Why would you do
these
that?
numbers.
This is what you get.
So you can choose if you're winning it or not, and what you can do is you can put a Google tag on there, the no snippet tag, to just say, Google, index my article, but I don't want you to grab any of it for a featured snippet, which means you're only eligible to rank in the organic natural results below that, right? So that happened. And then Moz did a study, which was super cool, where they took several of their articles that were winning a featured snippet, marked the traffic that they were getting, and then on those articles that were winning the featured snippet, they added the no snippet tag, so Google could not take them anymore for the featured snippet. They were still the number one result. Traffic went down 12% to those pages. And so you say, that's not possible that both of these things are true. If more traffic is the first organic result, then how did their traffic go down 12%?
Something changed. Something big changed. Earlier this year, Google put out an update that made it so you could no longer double dip. Here's what I mean by that. Back in these days, when this study was performed, if you won the featured snippet, you could also show up in the organic search results.
2 listings!
And so it was often the case that we would find we won the featured snippet and we won the number one ranking, or at least the number 2 ranking. So our total number was very high, much higher than if we didn't win the featured snippet.
In fact, back then, we found some where we had won the snippet 1, 2, 3, and 4, all on the same page.
From different articles, but on the same website. I mean, it was fantastic. That's changed, okay? And so, as that changed, many other things started to change as well. The SERP page looks different now. The organic, the natural search results, as they call it, are being pushed further and further down the page. Google wants to keep people on the SERP. That's where they make their money.
Enter a third study. This one very, very recent from Cistrix. Now this one looked at like a billion pages. I mean, it's
like a billion
very,
search
very
results,
comprehensive.
Millions of actual searches.
So now with no snippet, if a search, just Google is showing no snippet, which in our study that we did is only 26% of the time there's no snippet.
For informational type articles.
For the type of articles we would write. 28.5% are going to the number one article. The number two article gets 15.7%. Great. Now let's move on to the search results that do have a snippet. Now the snippet article gets 23.3% of the traffic, 20.5% goes to the number one result, and 13.3% goes to essentially the number three result on there. So this right now in 2020, this study proves you want to win number one, but it doesn't show especially why, because this makes it look like barely makes a difference if you're snippet or natural ranking number one, right? Wrong. Because a snippet is like a 2-sentence summary of the content of the article. And so if all I have to do is write 2 really great sentences and creating answer targets like we've been talking about, we teach you in Project 24 members, you have our course all on snippet optimization. You guys know exactly how to do it. We also did that YouTube video on snippet optimization that lays out some of the basics of how to get it done. And so if there's any way that you can jump the line to number one by just writing a 2-sentence summary, obviously you would want to, because you can't guarantee you're going to be the number one natural result after the snippet. And even if you could, you wouldn't want to.
Exactly. And so here's what a lot of SEOs are saying, though. They're saying it's better to be this guy, right? It's better to be the 28.5, right? It's better to write articles for topics that don't have a featured snippet, because if you can rank number one, right? If you rank number two, you were better off winning a featured snippet. So ideally, you would always win number one and only in topics that don't have a featured snippet. Why would you try to stay a step ahead of Google like that? That's like the most foolish thing I can think of, because what we're finding is that featured snippets are becoming more and more prominent virtually daily. New searches are having some kind of featured snippet.
When we did our study on the prevalence of featured snippets showing up in search results, we noticed a significant swing in the data from a Friday to the next Monday when we just got back in the office and kept doing the study.
We came back and did the same searches just to look at examples,
snippets
and they had changed.
It's happening fast. So a few reasons why this has changed. One, Google is no longer allowing double dipping, and it's changing people's behavior on the search result, because people used to look at the snippet and then assume, oh, they're going to have a listing down here, right? And they've also changed the design that makes it feel a little bit more clickable on that featured snippet. And so that is what has changed between the old and the new.
Something to keep in mind, a lot of SEOs are going to continue to cite this data, because this is the data that everybody's been talking about for a couple of years. Why to not win the featured snippet, and how featured snippets are stealing traffic away from us, because instead of getting 26, you only got 19.6. This is the data for today. This is outdated, but articles today are still citing it. This is the new data. This is what 2020 looks like. The SERPs are changing every single day. Don't rely on outdated sources.
There are a lot of great people teaching SEO out there right now, but if you are following one who isn't running around with their hair on fire, shouting about snippet optimization constantly, they're missing the story, because that's what's happening in 2020. We can't control it, like it or not. Snippets are here and here to stay, and they're only going to get more. I doubt it will be long before we see more than one featured snippet on there. We certainly see lots of different features. We're going to see many featured snippets on there. And so get good at it now. You get good at it by putting answer targets on your page, and we teach you in our YouTube video about snippet optimization. See you next week.